Hello everybody, welcome to this revision, Units 1, 2 and 3 of the book English File Upper Intermediate. Let's review and practice. To make up a question in English, we have these tips. Should we go to the party? We have the modal verb at the beginning, then the subject, and then the verb. What have you been doing? Here we have the WH question, then the auxiliary verb, then the subject, then the verb. Why didn't you pay attention? Is to show surprise, or I can also be looking for agreement. Where are they from? From, the preposition goes at the end. Who speaks so loudly? The who is like a subject here, so we don't need to use an auxiliary verb. Who speaks? Then we also have indirect questions. So this is the opposite of the direct ones. So it's kind of, I don't want to ask a question, yes, but in a way, yes. So, for example, could you please open the window? I use this question to show or to indicate an order, but I'm being polite, yes? And, for example, the next question. Do you know if Carol is coming to the party? We present the question with, do you know? Do you remember when? In that way, it's not a direct question, but an indirect one. Auxiliary verbs. We can use them with different purposes. For example, if I say, I like coffee, but Sarah doesn't, it's because I don't want to repeat like. The next example. I love soap operas. So do I. The first is an affirmative sentence, and with so do I, I'm saying that it's the same for me. The next example, I haven't done my homework. Neither have I. It's the same, but I have a negative sentence. Then we have, I don't have a dog. I do. I'm saying that for me it's different, with the auxiliary in the opposite, don't, do. The next dialogue. I practiced yoga yesterday. Did you? It's a reply question to show interest or surprise. In this case, it's a surprise. The next one. You didn't say goodbye. I did say it. I'm emphasizing something that in this case I did. The last example. He can speak German, can't he? You won't forget, will you? Those are question tags, and we use them to check for information or to look for agreement. He can speak German, can't he? Yes. The first sentence uses the affirmative can, so the question tag goes into the negative. You won't forget, negative. Will you, affirmative. It's in the other way round. Present perfect simple. We use this tense to talk about past experiences without a time reference. We don't say when something happened. No, we don't say that. This tense emphasizes the completion of an action. Examples. It's only one example in the different structures, affirmative, negative, and question. She has already practiced rafting. She hasn't practiced rafting yet. Has she ever practiced rafting? Yes, she has. Or, no, she hasn't. Or the other question, where has she practiced rafting? at Río Bermejo in Salta. Present perfect continuous. We use this tense for repeated actions or annoying actions and for actions that were in progress and have just finished. This tense emphasizes the duration of an action. For example, I have been sleeping well, as the baby in the photo. Or into the negative, I haven't been sleeping well. Questions. Have you been sleeping well? Yes, I have. Or no, I haven't. Or a more complete question. How have you been sleeping these days? Pretty well. Adjectives. We can use adjectives as nouns. How? In this way. For example, the French make lots of varieties of cheeses. For nationalities ending in th, sh, ese, or double s. They refer to a group of people, the French. The other example, the poor are having even harder times now. Here we are talking about specific groups in society, in this case, the poor. Adjectives have an order if we want to mention them. In this case, I am showing you which would be the order if I want to use all these adjectives. Of course, it's just an example. It's a beautiful little old long purple spotted Italian silk scarf. Wow, what a detail! To describe a scarf. Well, we don't need to use each of those kinds of adjectives, but they go in that order. If I'm going to say an opinion adjective, I have to put it there in that place. Then it comes the size, then the age, then the shape, then the color, then the pattern, then the origin or the place, then the material, and finally the noun. Narrative tenses. We use past tenses to tell a story. Past simple when we talk about consecutive actions in the past. Past continuous for actions in progress in the past. Past perfect. It's the earlier past or the past of the past. We are talking here when we refer to completed actions, and the past perfect continuous for longer continuous actions before the main events. I love going to Buenos Aires. It has the hustle and bustle that I don't find here in Salta. I try to go there once a year at least. Last year, when I was walking down one of those beautiful paths in Buenos Aires, peatonales, I looked for a library because I also love those old libraries with that wet smell inside. I love old magazines, books, records. I love them. And I was really imbued. That afternoon, I remember, I was really imbued in one of the books. It was interesting. Now I don't remember what was it about. I had been reading for a while when suddenly someone tapped on my shoulder. I took a look at him was a short 50-year-old man, a bald man. He seemed a nice person, and he asked me, "Do you believe in ghosts?" As I wanted to continue reading, I answered, "No, I don't," and I continued reading. But the man continued next to me, so I paid attention to him and I said, "Okay, and do you believe in ghosts?" I wanted him to go. The thing was that he answered, "Me? Of course I do believe in ghosts." And he disappeared. The position of adverbs and adverbial phrases. Adverbs can describe an action. They modify an action or a verb. They can also modify adjectives or other adverbs. They can either be one word or a phrase. Many kinds of adverbs: manner or frequency, of time, place, of degree, and also comment. The adverbs of manner, as in the first example, describe how somebody does something. The example says, "He walks slowly." These adverbs usually go after the verb or the verb phrase, as in this case, after walks. But with passive verbs, they usually go in mid-position. The next example is, "I would never have thought you were 40. Adverbs of frequency. They go before the main verb, but after the verb to be. Here we have the main verb think, have thought. So never is before have thought. Then we have adverbs of time, as in this example, "It rained all day yesterday." All day yesterday. They usually go at the end of a sentence or clause. The same case for the next example. "She will soon be here," after the verb. At the end of the sentence. Adverb of place. Then we have the adverbs of degree, as in the example, "I've nearly finished." They describe how much something is done, or they modify an adjective. Yes, so in this case, we have how much something is done. Nearly. It goes before the verb. Finally, we have the comment adverbs. Ideally, we should go back to the institute in March. That's the example. Usually, they go at the beginning of a sentence or clause. Other common comment adverbs are luckily, basically, clearly, obviously, apparently, eventually, unfortunately. Well, in general, most adverbs go in mid-position. I just need 10 more minutes. For example, she didn't even say goodbye. She'll probably come in the end. So, this is all about the position of adverbs. This is the basis. Thank you very much for watching the video. Any questions? Ask your teachers. Thank you. Bye-bye.